Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's vlog. Now, we are starting a very special 8-week program. We are going to get to the 5% club. We are going to get to that dreaded, but that elusive, and that very special 5% body fat club. So over the next 8 weeks, we're going to be dieting down. We're going to be showing what we eat, how we do it, what cardio we do. Normally I'd be doing my workouts as well, but this at-home stuff, still going to be showing that as well. So this whole week, I'm actually starting out week 1 with a week of Murph. So if you don't know what Murph is, that is a 1-mile run, 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, and 300 air squats, followed by a 1-mile run. And that's leading into Memorial Day. So we should be, 8 weeks should put us around right after the July 4th mark. So we're right in the middle of summer. It's going to be great, but we're going to work our ass off. So let's get our starting point and go from there. All right, so as you can see, 179.7 is going to be our starting point. Let's get a little physique check here. Just regular. I'm going to puff out, crunch down. Not a very good poser here, but we're gonna give it a shot. Let's get our back. And just front. So there's our starting physique. Now we've been kind of in a cut since about January, but I took about 5 weeks off recently, so kind of maintained, kind of gave my body a break, and now we're gonna jump back into it and go super hardcore. So let's get some breakfast, and then we'll get out there and get our Murph on. So this is how we start our first week of cutting. Or doing our major cut here, is breakfast, first meal of the day. So what we're going to do here, quick tip. I like to put my meals, because my meals change week to week, so I like to put them up right in my kitchen, right on my counter, little post-it note, so I know exactly what I have to do when I'm meal prepping, when I'm doing anything. There's no guesswork. There's no like, was it 50 grams or 100 grams? So real simple, real easy. Quick tip. So, our meal 1, 3 whole eggs, 300 grams of egg whites, 45 grams of this rice and grind cereal. If you've never had this before, this stuff is awesome. It comes in a bunch of different flavors. It tastes great. Makes you look forward to breakfast. And then it's either going to be 50 grams of blueberries or 100 grams of strawberries. So we're going to go with strawberries this morning. I also like to add in, I cut up some vegetables like once a week, twice a week, something like that. Squash, mushrooms, red peppers. I like to throw that into my eggs. These are things that I wouldn't eat just by itself. I wouldn't eat them with another meal, but they're great sources of vitamins and minerals, and they just help make the meal more full, right? You're trying to, especially when you're cutting, and not really the first week or the first couple of weeks because your calories are still a little high, but you want to do these little tricks to kind of put more volume into a meal without putting a lot of calories in there, right? So even these 3 here, I can add a lot of it, and you're talking about an extra 30 to 50 calories at most. So you get a lot of volume for a little bit of calories, and that is how you eat. You shouldn't be hungry on a diet until like until you're like really coming down and you're doing a ton of cardio, you're doing whatever your goals may be. But for me, I know those last couple of weeks is when I should be getting those hunger pangs, which just throw some more water in, maybe a little flavored water, maybe a carbonated, like a diet soda, or like carbonated water here and there. Just little tricks like that. So I'm gonna cook this up. Here we have it, breakfast. One of my best parts of the day. I really enjoy. We've got 3 eggs, 300 grams of egg whites, 100 grams of strawberries, my rice and grind cereal, sort of like just a rice cereal instead of oats, and then my coffee, my fancy DK mug. Love it. That is breakfast. So that looks like 550 calories, 53 grams or 54 grams of protein, 41 grams of carbohydrates, and 13 grams of fat. Now, before this, I was doing 2 times my body weight in protein as like a little 28-day adventure, which that video will be linked at the end of here. Also down in the description if you want to check that out. I learned a lot eating that much protein. And with that in mind, I know that I'm tailoring off, but that kind of plan, I ate a big breakfast, a ton of protein and fat, a little bit of fat in the morning, but 0 carbs, kept all my carbs for later on in the day. So this is kind of interesting to see how this is going to react, because now I'm doing basically like almost a 40-40 split of protein and carbs in the morning. So a lot of times carbs trigger hunger for me. And I know a lot of people do as well, and that's kind of like the downside of carbs, right? A lot of people go keto just because it helps with those cravings. It keeps you full for longer, but it's a lot to do with cravings. You know, carbohydrates trigger stuff in our mind that, you know, whether it be chemicals or experiences, any sort of sweetness like that, and then all of a sudden you want more. It's the same reason you always have room for dessert after every meal. That's sort of the reason why. Those carb-rich meals or those sugar-rich meals, they hit those pleasure zones in our brain, and we crave more and more of them. So I'm going to enjoy this. I also like to take in about 1 liter of water, so 1/4 gallon, usually when I wake up, and then I'll drink a little bit more as I'm eating breakfast, but it's mostly coffee. We're gonna get to this Murph challenge, so after this, gonna stretch a little bit, let digest a little bit, stretch, and then gonna start our 1 mile run, our 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 squats, another mile run. Let's get it. Let's get it. I started this yesterday. Today's day 2 in the books. Thank God, done. Today I pushed the reps a little bit more, and that last mile run, I was really feeling it. But we're here for meal 2. Meal 2 is going to be 120 grams of green beans, 120 grams of rice, 33 grams of avocado, or I use the holy guacamole. That's just all avocado. They have guacamole and then they have an avocado brand. And 150 grams of chicken breast. Real simple, real easy. Have all my meals in the fridge. Cook them up twice a week. Takes me about an hour. I add salt to everything. I salt everything. I sweat a lot. And when you're cooking at home, as opposed to eating out or eating whatever, your salt intake dramatically reduces. Salt, potassium, magnesium. Those are the electrolytes you hear about in Gatorade commercials and all of that stuff. Replenish your electrolytes. Hugely important for performance. Your performance can get affected. If you're prone to cramping, more than likely,
there's something going on with your potassium levels, maybe even your magnesium levels. Magnesium is very hard to get from food, so if you're not supplementing magnesium, you're already in a deficit, more than likely. And then salt. Salt is a preservative for everything. So if you're eating out, you're getting either enough or more than enough salt in your diet. But when you're cooking at home, a lot of times, even if you're using spices and stuff, you're using that before you cook. So you're not really keeping that salt intake. And I believe 2,400, I believe 2,400 milligrams is the daily value or recommended serving for sodium. So if you're cooking at home, you're probably getting a quarter of that if you're not adding salt to every meal. And a lot of times you'll find your performance start to decline when you start eating clean and you don't continue with your salt intake. So just keep that in mind. It's something really good. Just whether it be, like I used on the weekends, I used iodized salt. And then during the weekdays, I'll use pink Himalayan salt. Just two different salts. Iodine is something that we don't find in our diet either, that we need to get outside normally. So it's just really good to include. With that said, gonna enjoy this. Gonna go about my day. We got a car wash today. We got a bunch of editing to do, a bunch of programming to write. So full day, long day. Stick with me. Here we are, meal 3. Same thing as meal 2, and meal 4 is going to be the exact same thing as that. And that is going to be the 150 grams of chicken, 120 grams of rice, 120 grams of green beans, 33 grams of holy avocado, and I put a little bit of sugar-free barbecue sauce on here. Do not take for granted sauces, how they can change every single meal. There's so much good stuff out there right now. You have this sugar-free barbecue sauce. I haven't tried a flavor that I haven't liked yet. Hot sauce, great. Mustard, there's spicy mustard, like a jalapeno mustard, that is just, it's delicious. Got a little bit of a kick to it. If you like the mustard flavor, it's awesome, and it's 0 calories. You know, it's basically just vinegar and mustard seed with a little jalapeno in there. It's awesome. As you see, I got my handy dandy blender here. So I'm gonna be making some protein ice cream. If you're familiar with this channel, you know I like to do little recipes here and there, little protein snacks. Some high protein, some medium protein, or moderate protein I should say, with some carbohydrates and stuff like that. I believe in enjoying what you do, enjoying what you eat. And a lot of us crave sweets. A lot of us crave these types of things, but you can do it in a way that's not gonna hurt your progress and actually be able to get you to where you wanna go while enjoying some of those foods. So I just like coming up with these different recipes and showing them off. That's on the channel. If you don't know that, that means you're not subscribed. So hit that subscribe button now. It's all right, I'll give you time. These recipes will help you with your sanity. A lot dieting is majorly mental. I would argue that it's probably about 95% mental, if I had to put a number on it. Just because your hunger isn't real. Like, your cravings are cravings, but if you're mentally strong, they're not real. It's not like you need the sweets. It's not like you need any. You crave them, and it gets to a point where you feel like you can't control them. And then you end up binging and all of that. So I'm gonna enjoy this food. I'm gonna make this ice cream. This will be up on the channel at a later date. And I will hit you back for meal 5, because meal 4 is gonna be the same thing as well. I want you guys to understand, you don't necessarily have to eat like a bodybuilder to get the results. It's just an easy way to do it. You don't have to eat 5, 6, 7 times a day. But spacing out your meals like that makes it easier to hit those meals, hit your macros, hit your calories, without getting those little spots in between of, I want a snack, I want this, I want that. That's really what those little meals help you do. And can you get the same results with 3 bigger meals? Yes. Yes, you can. But sometimes mentally we need those little meals because it just spaces them out closer. That's where fasting comes into effect and helps out a lot of people because it gives you that 8-hour window. You can't fit that much food in there. And as you get used to it, your body gets used to it, your stomach gets smaller. You can't really fit as much food, and it allows that calorie window to even close shorter and shorter, and you can fit less and less in there. And that's where you're getting the weight loss from. So, like I said, almost 100% mental, and it's really, really, really that easy. So come back for meal 5. We're gonna have some steak, we're gonna have some broccoli, we're gonna have some sweet potatoes, and love life. So here we are, last meal of the day, final meal of the day. We got some recovery in. We took an ice bath today. Day 1 of this journey to 5%. Our last meal, we have 170 grams of steak there. We have 120 grams of broccoli and 220 grams of sweet potatoes. And it looks delicious. I look forward to this meal. This is usually once or twice a week with this one. So that puts me at 2,365 calories for the day. Macro breakdown, 213 grams of protein, 225 grams of carbs, and 54 grams of fat. So, really good, about 40-40-20 split. And that's a great way to start off any sort of diet. So, I'm really happy with that. I'm looking forward to this prep. I'm looking forward to seeing what I can do in the next 8 weeks. And I'm looking forward for you guys to come along on this journey with me into these unknown waters, unprecedented area for myself. And I want to see how far I can take my body and what happens afterwards, rebounding, reverse dieting, all of that stuff. We're going to cover everything over the next 8 weeks and then into the next 12, into the next 16. Look forward to it. With that said, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you in the next one.